Hello everyone, hello guys, welcome back with us again. So our group today we're going to present it about macroeconomics, chapter 7 about unemployment. Okay, so before going to start about our presentation, I'm going to tell you about our group's members. And so of course the group member is me, and my name is Yeremia, and there are two of my group members. His name is Daniel and Shiefanny. So without any further ado, let's get started to the presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and this is our group members. We have Shiefanny, Yeremia, and in this video we're going to be talking about unemployment. So let's get started. So the first one, we have the beverage curve. So it basically the beverage curve is the relation between job vacancies and unemployment rate. So as you can see on the left hand side, we have so many dots, the curve itself. We have the dots which represents the year, and the left hand side we have the job vacancies or the job openings, and then the bottom part we have unemployment rate or unemployment rate in percent. So yeah, we're not going to be taking a look at this further in, so let's get moving to the next slide. So we have 5 key characteristics of unemployment. First, there are large variations in unemployment rates across groups defined by age, race, or experience. So there are variations in unemployment rate. And then the second one, there is high turnover in the labor market. A significant part of this turnover is cyclical. And most people who become unemployed in any given month remain unemployed for only a short time. And then the last one, much of United States unemployment consists of people who will be unemployed for quite a long time. So yeah, let's get moving. So the third one, we're going to be talking about the unemployment pool. The unemployment pool actually talks about a group of unemployment people. So it's actually talking about groups. So a person may become unemployed for 1 or 4 reasons. So we have the reasons for people becoming unemployed. First one, here he or she may be a new entrant into the labor force, or may be re-entrant. So the persons may be a new worker, or an old worker which already have a job and then they lost their job and then they're trying to find a new one, and then they succeed, and then it is called re-entrant. So next, the person may quit a job in order to look for other employment and may register as unemployment while searching. Then the last one, the person may be laid off. So layoff means that suspension without pay, lasting or expected to last more than 7 consecutive days, initiated by the employer without prejudice, of course. And the worker may lose job either by being fired or because the firm closes down. So that is the 4 main reasons why person may become unemployed. So let's move on to the next one. Variation in unemployment across groups. So we're going to be talking about a formula in this part. The variation of unemployment rates across different groups in the labor force can be examined using the relationship between the overall unemployment rate with unemployment rate, which we use U as the symbol, and the unemployment rate UI of groups within the labor force. So I here means the timeline or the year. The overall rate is weighted average of the unemployment rates of the group. So as you can see there, That's the formula. The W represents the weight. So yeah, this is the formula. Let's move on. Cyclical and frictional. Hold on. Cyclical and frictional unemployment. Okay, so frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment means that those people who are in the process of moving from one job to another job and who therefore appear in the unemployment statistic collected at any given time. So this person is in the process of moving from one job to another job. So in the process of moving one job to another job, the person can be considered as frictional unemployment because they don't have a job and they are searching for the job. So yeah, and then cyclical unemployed. So cyclical unemployment caused by fluctuations in the level of economic activity. So the unemployment is based on the cycles of economics. So if there is a recession and then the unemployment rate increase, so that is what affects the cyclical unemployment. So it depends on this economic condition. So let's continue. Labor market flows. Okay. Labor market flows means the flow of labor market turnover, and labor market turnover flows into and out of unemployment and employment and between jobs is large. This data shows the movement or turnover in the labor market by splitting net employment changes into the different components. So as you can see there's a table. Sorry if it's not clear enough for you to see, but it's actually the flows of labor market. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much. We're going to be talking about duration of unemployment, which is going to be explained by my friend. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so now about the duration of unemployment. All we know that it is as a spell of unemployment, which means that it is a period in which an individual remains continuously unemployed, or the duration of unemployment here is the average length of time a person remains unemployed. So it is about the time that a person is remain unemployed, right? So we can get an idea that can be a long term for or the short term. For the long term one, which means that it is kind of a major problem of unemployment. But for the short term one, we can assume that the people is quickly enter a job or change their job like that. And historically, the duration of unemployment was high when the unemployment was high too. So next, the recession, recoveries, and the timing of unemployment. So the term jobless recovery here means that when the recession is start to be recovered, it is jobless recovery, and unemployment remains high in the period immediately following the end of recession. And the first reason that unemployment lacks overall recoveries is because of the mechanical. We can assume that because of the technology, because in the globalization era, the technology improved very, very quickly. So the mechanical here is quite a problem for people to adapt, and it caused the recession. And here is a figure, and we can see that on 1973 until 75, 1980, and also 81, 82, there's a recession, or we can see because the unemployment is really high. And if you see the right one on the 90 until 91 and also 2001, the recession remains high or continue to climb again. Also, the previous year it's start to decrease like that. The many measures of unemployment. So Bureau of Labor Statistics published 6 different measures of unemployment. Here is the table. There are 6, and the headline here that we always talk by the headline is about the U3 or the official rate of measurement, and for the U1 until U2 is the tighter measurement. It is tighter definition like that, and for the U4, U5, U6 it is the looser measurement, measures like that. And here is a figure. From this figure you can conclude that if you analyze the U3 and the U6, the U6 will twice as high as the U3, and it is in the good times it is really good. Why? Because let's assume that the official rate is goes by around 5% for the U3. So if we see or we measure using the U6, it will goes down or decline down to around 8 until 10% like that. The next one is about one of the case about this figure, and yeah, it's quite the same actually, but from this figure we can see that this is the last year on 2007-2008 there are a great recession that make the long-term unemployment records really high, and this further illustrates that uneven distributional consequences of unemployment. And at the end of 2012, well after the official end of Great Recession, nearly 40% of all unemployed workers in US and had been without work for more than half a year. So the next subchapter is about full employment. There are 2 determinants of natural rate. The first is the duration and the second is the frequency of unemployment. But first we will talk about the duration first. So the duration of unemployment. It means that the duration of unemployment here is depends on cyclical factors, and these are following structural characteristics of labor market. First, the organization of the labor market. This is including the presence or absence of employment agencies and also the youth employment service. And the second is demographic makeup of the labor force, and the last is the ability of desire of the unemployed to keep looking for a better job, which depend in part on the availability of unemployment benefit like that. And people who have worked, this is the explanation about the third structure factor like that. People will face 2 options. First, they will quit their original job, or they will stay or will not quit in their original job. Where sometimes people choose to quit their job because they hope they can looking for the better one. They hope that they will looking for the more worthy job that they can get like that by quit their original job. And this situation called a surge unemployment, and an increase in unemployment benefits will increase the natural rate of unemployment. For those that choose to stay or will not quit their original job, is sometimes because they assuming or they hope that they will can get the seniority or pension by showing their loyalty to the firms, because they have been work for years, for maybe 10 years, more than 10 years like that. So they feel like it's too bad for leaving their original job that they have been loyal to like that. With these 2 situations, we can conclude that the behavior of workers who have been laid off is also important when considering the duration of unemployment. And now about the frequency of unemployment. So the frequency here is the average number of time per period that the worker become unemployed. It's about the number of times in each period, not how long, like the duration before. So there are two basic determinants. If the duration before is have 3, now for the frequency they have 2. First, the variability of the demand for labor across different firms in the economy. So let's assume that the aggregate demand is still constant. So some firms will be face two option. It is about growing or about contracting. The difference here, if the contracting is they will lose the labor, but for the growing they will hire more labor like that. And the second is the rate at which the new worker enters the labor force, since the potential workers start out as unemployed. With this statement, we can conclude that if it is more rapid for new worker enter the labor force, then the growth rate of labor force will be also become higher like that. So in the end, the natural rate of unemployment will be also higher. The last is about the estimates of natural rate of unemployment. So I will not explain more about the equation because my partner before is already explained it, since it really same with the equation 1. But the difference here is, for this equation, the natural rate is the weighted average of the natural rates of unemployment of the subgroups in labor force. And the first set of adjustment for changing composition of the labor force, and the second is set tries in a variety of ways to take account of change in the fundamental determinants of natural rate. And there are agreement that some researchers believe that the range of possible values for natural rate is so broad as to nearly useless for policy making. But there are one researcher named Robin Carden that believes while the natural rate varies over time, the value of natural rate on a particular date can be estimated with considerable precision.
Okay, so it's going to be my turn right now. I'm going to present about histories and rising natural rate of unemployment. So here I'm going to take an example, as we can see here. I'm going to take example above America, USA. So in 1970s, the USA or the US unemployment rate is stable at 4.2%, but only in 10 years the unemployed rate increased for 5.8% and become 10%. So why this can be happen? The possible explanation to this case is this. Uh, it's because that extended periods of high unemployment raise the natural rate, a phenomenon known as unemployment hysteresis. So that's what called hysteresis, right? Over here we can see. So if someone unemployed for a long time, it will make uh, it will affect them harder to get a job. So for a long time, it will affect the they harder to find a job. It's because of the energy will be lack, because it takes too long to find a job, and also they don't have any enough qualification to do the right job. Because that, as we can see here, the arrow is go down because of uh, it represent if it's decreasing. And next one is reducing the natural rate of unemployment. So unemployment is, yeah, actually for a country it can be bad, it can be good. So how to reduce it? So the reducing the natural rate of unemployment. So natural rate of unemployment focus on two things. First one is high unemployment rates of teenager, and The second one is proportion of total unemployment accounted for by the long term. And as we know, many teenagers like to enter and leave the labor force in part because they found it not attractive at all. Yeah. To provide it, many countries in Europe, it's like Germany, Italy, and France, and many other, they trying to make some training for the teenager to make them feel comfortable, to make them know each other and know how to work, yeah, properly actually. And some of it have some idea like this: wages. They reducing the teenager minimum wages, so it can, so they will try to work hard so the wages can be increased. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And the next one is going to be the cost of unemployment. So the cost of unemployment here, there are the cost of cyclical unemployment. So the cost of cyclical unemployment itself have divided by two. As we can see here, there are distribution impact of unemployment, sorry, and the second one is other costs and benefits. Before we know about these two, yeah, we should know about this one first, the cost of cyclical unemployment. So what is it? The cost of cyclical unemployment. So the first measure of the cost of cyclical unemployment is the output loss, because the economy is not at full employment. Yeah. So we can obtain an estimate of this loss by using Okun's law. Okun's law is estimate provide the basic measure of the overall cost of cyclical unemployment. So after we know about the cost of cyclical unemployment, now we're going to know what is distribution impact of unemployment here. So it's like before, like Okun's law, distribution no impact of unemployment also has to be taken to account. In general, what is distribution impact of unemployment? Unemployment hits poor people harder than it hits the rich. So, the impact of unemployment hit harder to the poor people than it hit the rich people. And this aspect should increase concern about the problem. The Okun's law estimate encompass all the lost income, including that all of the individual who lost their job. The total loss could be distributed among different people in economics in many different ways. So we know about these two now, and now we are going to know what is other costs and benefits. So it's not always about loss in unemployment. We also have some benefit, of course. So what is other costs and benefits that we have? So the other costs and benefits that we have is a possible offsetting benefits occurs because the unemployment by not working have more leisure. However, the value that can be placed on that leisure is small in the first place. Much of it is unwanted leisure. And the second one is from the people who pay tax from their wages. So usually people who get salary or wages, they usually pay their taxes because pay their taxes to get their wages. Yeah, some kind of like that. So society in general receive a benefit in the form of tax revenue when workers are employed. So, and we're going into the last slide. Okay, long-term and long-term unemployment benefits. So in US unemployment benefits, I'm going to take example about US again. In US, unemployment benefits are generally limited to 6 months. In states with particularly high unemployment, extended benefits become available for an extra 20 weeks. And extended unemployment benefits affect measured unemployment in two ways. So the first one is here, and this one, and the second one is this one. So the first one is some unemployment worker stop looking for a job. They don't want to look a job anymore. And the second one is some unemployed worker decide to keep looking for a job rather than giving up and leaving the labor force. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your attention. Hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you.